Hey y'all, welcome back. It's the Queen. How's it going? Tonight we're recapping Iyanla Fix My Life, Season 8, the last season, Episode 5. In tribute for Mother's Day, 99 Problems, and my mom is one. Okay, so one moment. Bruiser, come here. 99 Problems and a bark is one. So in this episode, we have a family, two grown daughters, and a couple that's been married for 28 years, which is a really long time. So, but the common theme seems to be everyone's afraid of mama. So, Iyanla loves a good prop. The prop of this episode is she says a Soul Train board. But for those of you that may not have watched Soul Train, it's like a big whiteboard with the magnetic letters, so you can move them around to spell things. Okay. So when the two grown daughters come in, Leilani, she's 32, and Alexis is 26. So I mean, like, this is grown. Daughters come in and she asks them, "Do you know why you're here? And can you spell it on the board?" And they couldn't figure it out. But it's the phrase was, "We are afraid of mom's backlash." Okay. So then she brings the husband, Patrick, in, and she does the same thing with him with the letter board. And his says, "I am here because of my wife." And then Erica, the wife, comes in and she does the same thing for her. And she's the only one that was able to move her letters in the correct order. And it said, "I am the problem." So either she knew why they were there or she had an easier phrase. But, anyways, "I am the problem." That's what hers said. So Iyanla has a truth telling session with Patrick, the husband, and she asked him, on a scale of 0 to 5, where do you feel you are in your relationship? And he said a 4. And when she asked the same question to Erica, Erica said a 3, which is kind of like a pretty big, I don't know. Three's like, Erica was talking about more of like she was closer to leaving. Patrick, he was definitely dedicated and was like, "Oh, we're just having a rough patch," but never ever mentioned leaving her or even really being I don't know, just like, "Oh, we're just going through a rough patch." But she told him, Alana told the mom that everyone was controlled by her response to everything. The daughters were upset that if they did or said something that mom didn't like, that mom would give them the cold shoulder, which there was this whole big thing about the cold shoulder or withholding yourself is emotional violence. And I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I mean, I guess it could be. When Iyanla takes Patrick off for the truth telling session, she feels like pretty much she's so out of touch with everything. She sends him to the hotel. She kind of like tells him, "This is where we're at. And I'm going to give you some time to go think on this because we're not in the same place." And so he comes back the next day, and I think he has a little bit of more of a position to talk about the problems. But yeah, she just sent him on home for the day. Like, just sent him back to the hotel. Iyanla was talking about if you don't resolve the hurts with your mother, they're going to show up in your mothering. And I thought that that was probably the best thing that Iyanla said out of this episode. I find that that is very, very true. If you don't resolve the hurt with your mother, they're going to show up in your mothering. So if you have issues with your mother, it's going to affect how you parent your children. That's often why people parent out of guilt or whatever. Addiction definitely played its key through this family. Alcoholism in particular. Apparently, the youngest daughter had ended up, well, when they got to the show, because they knew drinking, I guess, was prominent in the family, they gave everyone a breathalyzer. And the youngest daughter um blowed like a 0.22 or something. And so it was just kind of how like patterns are repeated if they're not addressed. Well, Patrick had grown up seeing an alcoholic father, I believe it was, but it was never addressed. Therefore, he felt like it was okay not to address the drinking issues that he was witnessing in his daughter. So Patrick comes back and the next day, oh, well, I'm sorry, let me go back. So Iyanla after she sends Patrick to the hotel on day one, Iyanla sets up and she talks to both the daughters and finds out that they're both scared of their mother's reactions. And so she has a tea with the daughters and the mom. And that's the daughters, pretty much the oldest ones, like, you treat me like a child, not just your child, but a child, and I'm an adult. And so she really stood up for herself, and it was really good to see. And then the youngest one decided that that would be a good time to announce her relationship and that she was having someone pick her up at the airport. And she actually ended up moving in with that gentleman the same day that they got back, which the mother did not seem happy about the relationship, but she was talking about wanting the adult daughters out of her house. So, be careful what you ask for. Iyanla also said something I thought that was, very touching. When something breaks down, you need tools to get it repaired, right? And that's very true. You need tools. And I think that the tool this family needed was communication. And everyone was scared to death to talk to mother or to mom or to say something that was going to make her upset. And then you were going to get it, however that meant. So, not in a physical way necessarily in this family, but it was just you were going to get it. She was going to give you the cold shoulder. She was going to whatever, but it was going to make the household very uncomfortable. That's what the two daughters and the dad all kept saying, was the mother would make the house very uncomfortable. Nobody wanted to live in an uncomfortable environment. So they just kept the peace and kept the mother happy, just so they didn't have to live in the uncomfortableness. Erica, the woman, actually talked about how she did not have a good relationship with her mother. And unfortunately, she had to take care of her mother for several years and just recently got her mother out of her home. So imagine having to care for someone that you resented, someone that you felt didn't take care of you when they were supposed to, and now you have to take care of them. I'm sure that that brought up a lot of unresolved issues and anger and all kinds of feelings with Erica. And unfortunately, it manifested its way into her relationships with her daughters. it definitely happens. So there were no like big wow props in this episode. It was just the board with the letters, which sometimes less is more. And I really do think the family got the tools that they needed, hopefully, to be successful in communicating with each other. So hopefully, Yolana fixed the life of this family. I guess we will have to see if there's a ever episode of how they're doing now after the show ends. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of the prop this episode? Leave me a comment and let me know, out of all the Yolana seasons, what has been your favorite prop? I definitely want to know. What has been your favorite prop? Because Yolana has had a lot of props over the years. And so, what has been your favorite? I have to say, one of my favorites may be the wigs from last week's episode. Honestly, I really did enjoy the wigs. So please hit the subscribe button and the like. Leave me a comment. And remember, do something nice for yourself and something nice for someone else. And I will see you next time, the last season of Yolana Fix My Life. Have a good night. Bye.